Welcome to Today in Prophecy Daily News in 15 minutes or less. I'm Tom Hughes. Well, this first article is actually a post from Yorm Edinger, who is an ambassador on behalf of the nation of Israel. Check out what he says here. Former Israeli ambassador Kamala Harris will isolate Israel on the world stage. Folks, I want you to let that sink in. No matter what she has said over the last week and a half, the debate the other night, listen, the whole thing is just a lie. She will go after Israel. She's not a fan of Israel, not a friend of Israel. She is indeed a foe of Israel. I had the opportunity to interview Yorm Edinger several years ago. I think it was in 2015 while in Jerusalem. Listen, I'm hoping to be able to interview him again soon. Be on the lookout for him here at Hope for Our Times. But I look at that. That's a fact. Regardless of what Kamala Harris says with her lips, I know she's lying because I know what her policy has been for years. But continuing from there, we have a lot to talk about in our update right now. But continuing from there, look at this. Israel offers Hamas leader, this is Sinwar, a safe exit from Gaza in bid to end the war. As you look at this, if you have an opportunity to read through all of it, I would encourage you to do it, but this is what they're doing. They're offering Sinwar, the leader of the Hamas, he's this Hamas operative, the man who was seen wearing a dress recently to try and escape the IDF. They're saying, hey, we won't kill you. This is what we want to do. We want to end the war. We want our hostages back. And Israel is even saying we're willing to free up some of the prisoners they have. I think personally this is a really bad idea, but I'm not Israeli. So I don't know all of the intricates, the workings behind it, but we do know Sinwar has not responded at all. In fact, this article even goes on to say they aren't responding to anything anybody offers. Hamas is the only one that's making any offers, but they will not enter into any kind of genuine negotiation. They don't want to end the war. And you look at this, Israel needs to deal with the Hamas problem. It's interesting to see that that's something that's actually been put on the table. But we go from there. Check out this next article regarding the Pope. Pope visits largest Muslim nation, signing end of days Esau-Ishmael alliance against Israel. Pope Francis embarked on a 12-day tour of 4 nations in Southeast Asia and Oceania, beginning this tour with a visit to Jakarta, Indonesia, home to the largest Muslim population in the world. In Jakarta, the Pope met with Indonesia's Grand Imam, Nasran Umar, at the entrance to the Tunnel of Friendship, which connects this Istiqlal Mosque to a nearby Catholic cathedral, Our Lady of the Assumption. Present were representatives of the 6 religions that are officially recognized in Indonesia: Islam, Buddhism, Confucianism, Hinduism, Catholicism, and Protestantism. As you continue working through this whole process, it notes here that this alliance implicitly threatens Israel, the spiritual descendant of their mutual biblical nemesis. What they're saying is Esau and Ishmael. Esau, of course, if you know the Bible, was Jacob's twin brother. Ishmael was the illegitimate child. Well, he was, I should say this, the child of Sarah's handmaiden through Hagar and Abraham. And God said, no, the promise isn't going to come through this child, Ishmael. It's going to come through Isaac, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And in fact, the Bible even calls them cousins, calls the people of Israel and the Arab world cousins. Esau, Ishmael, cousins to the Jews, the sons of Jacob. But you'll look at this, and again, it says here in this article, this alliance implicitly threatens Israel. When I read about alliances like this and what the Bible says, I want to, first of all, caution anybody who jumps on this and says, hey, this is the Daniel chapter 9 covenant. The Pope is the Antichrist, or he's the false prophet. Listen, I believe this Pope has all the markings of a false prophet or the false prophet. No doubt about it, but I don't believe he is the false prophet. I think he's a forerunner You look at the things that he does and you think, okay, this guy definitely is setting up for the kingdom of the beast, the kingdom of Antichrist. But I just don't believe this is that covenant. Next month, another covenant will come out. Then we'll have the UN agreements. Then we'll have more of the COP agreements, the climate agreements. Then we'll have a sustainable development SDG goal agreement. And people will keep saying, this is the covenant, this is the covenant. We're coming up on Rosh Hashanah and the Feast of Trumpets. Hey, the rapture is going to happen tomorrow. Listen, you got to be very careful on any of these things. But it's a reminder when you see something like this, when you have the Pope traveling around to these Muslim nations saying, Israel is the problem, by the way. That's ultimately what they're saying. The Pope's saying Israel is the problem, the Jews are the problem. And we're hearing this. It's just a reminder of the days that we live in. Everybody's looking for a solution to the Jewish problem. Hitler had his. Here's the solution. It's kill all the Jews. And that's what they're saying now, kill all the Jews. Antichrist will come along and say, we're going to have a solution to the Jewish problem. I will trick the Jews into thinking I'm the Messiah. I'm the benevolent one. That's what I'm going to do. Only way I'm going to get them to agree. Then Israel enter into that agreement. Isaiah chapter 28, you can read about it. Daniel chapter 9, you can read about it. That will be the covenant of Antichrist when that one comes around. Right now, they're saying we need the solution, the Jewish solution, and they're saying let's rid of the world of the Jews. Listen, it's not going to happen. Jesus himself said in Matthew chapter 23, he said, you will not see me again until you say, blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. He's saying that to the Jews. In other words, you will say, Hosanna, you will say, blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. You will turn to the Lord in that day through much pain and much pressure and much difficulty, but you will turn to the Lord and the Lord will save them. But in the meantime, these covenants come and these covenants go, and the threats come and the threats go. Israel will stand, the Jew will still be here, Jesus will come back, the Bible will be fulfilled exactly as it says, and the Pope is an evil man. Next article, out of Israel 365 News. Biden administration pushes Israel to give land to Hezbollah. No kidding, a reminder, let me pull up the statement from Yorm Ettinger again, and just as a reminder as we look at this next article. This is what he said. Again, former Israeli ambassador, Kamala Harris will isolate Israel on the world stage. Folks, it is going to happen. And then you have this with the Biden administration pushes Israel to give land to Hezbollah. The appeasement lobby only has one big idea when it comes to Islamic terrorists and any other enemies. Give them land. When the terrorists attack anyway, explain that it's because they didn't get enough land last time. Number 3, give them more land. And number 4, when the terrorists attack anyway, explain that it's because they didn't get enough land last time. Israel has been living through this particular peace process nightmare for a generation, it says here. Actually, this has been going on for generations. Israel's always been promised land for peace. Listen, even if you go back to what they were originally supposed to have at the time of the British Mandate, there was a two-state solution back then. Israel got this little tiny sliver, and Jordan got this great big piece of land. That was the two-state solution. They don't want a two-state solution. They want a land without Israel. Listen, I don't believe in a two-state solution either myself. Daniel chapter 11 teaches that Antichrist will divide the land, speaking specifically of Jerusalem and Israel, for gain, for his own personal gain, and those who are on his cabinet, those that are part of his administration. I don't want a two-state solution. But we keep hearing about a two-state solution. It doesn't work. It's never going to work. Israel's already had that. Israel has this tiny piece of land, and they're told to give up more land. Well, you give up the land of Gaza, then you'll have peace. Israel said, no, we won't. Israel even pulled up their dead bodies of of Jews who were buried in Gaza, took them out of Gaza because they knew that the graves would be desecrated by the Palestinians that lived there. Israel put up a wall around Gaza in order to protect themselves. And what do Hamas do? Fly rockets over the wall. Even Egypt recognizes the Palestinians are a problem. Egypt has a massive border, won't let one in. Jordan won't let one in. Syria won't let one in. Nobody wants them. And everybody says Israel just has to capitulate. Now they say we want a one-state solution. In other words, a state without Jews in it. But Jesus is coming back. We know how it's going to be fulfilled. Giving up land, no matter what the Biden administration says, is not going to work. But it's an evil plan. And Kamala Harris is, I'm telling you, man, she's a bad person. Times of Israel reports IDF hits Hezbollah launchers after rocket fire. Gallant to troops, prepare for ground op. As we look at everything that's going on with in the northern part of Israel, hey, join me this coming Tuesday, about 4 or 5 days from now. I'm going to have Naftali. He's going to be joining me on the program. It's going to be a great podcast from Israel. He's joining me. Naftali, many of you probably already follow him. He has over 3 million social media followers, but he gives daily updates on Israel. He'll be my guest this coming Tuesday. Also going to be joining me at 412 Church in Temecula on October 13th. It's going to be a great time. Make sure you mark your calendars for that. We had John Haller this past Sunday, October 13th. Naftali will be joining me. But as you look at this with Hezbollah, everything is heating up and heating up. What's going to happen? Listen, if you're Israeli, you want to live in a land of peace. But let's not stop here. Of 7 Israel National News, Ruth Sheva, Hamas attempts to incite an intifada in Judea and Samaria. Hamas has called on the residents of Judea and Samaria to escalate the struggle against the occupation and settlers, emphasizing that security should be denied to Israel at any cost. We are just continuing to watch this. Been talking about the areas of Judea and Samaria, the uprisings from there. It reminds me of Psalm 122 says, pray for the peace of Jerusalem. May they prosper. Who are praying for the peace of Jerusalem. As I look at that, I think ultimately that's a prayer for the Messiah to come back. Hey, a couple of quick things since the debate was just a couple of nights ago. Keep this in mind. Robbie Starbuck posts, Kamala and Walz are trying to tell voters that they suddenly are pro-gun, pro-border wall, pro-patriotism, and pro-business. Both have endorsed gun confiscation, demonized the wall, trashed America during BLM, and support high taxes plus regulations that kill businesses. One will decide this election. Are the majority of Americans dumb enough to believe that they changed? Or what will decide this election? Are the majority of Americans dumb enough to believe they've changed? Listen, they have not changed. Abortion will shoot through the roof. Anti-Israel sentiment will shoot through the roof coming from the administration. And remember what God says in Genesis chapter 12, verse 3, I'll bless those who bless thee. I will curse those who curse thee. And listen, pray for the peace of Jerusalem. God bless you guys. Join me for You Can't Make This Up later on today. And may the rest of your day be blessed in the Lord.